There are hundreds of precons available, but none fully support a demon tribal deck. So I've created a custom precon and I will walk you through the cards that make this demon tribal deck both fun and powerful. In total, there are 4 creatures that you can use as your commanders for this demon tribal deck. We have Rakdos, Lords of Riots, and he is good to make your demons cost less, because creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. But Rakdos Lords of Riot is the weakest commander you can play. Another commander that I absolutely love is Kardur Doomscourge, and he has an awesome enter the battlefield effect, because when he enters he creates this emblem which disappears when your turn starts. Creatures my opponents control must attack other players other than me if possible. And whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. And the advantage of this is that even if someone plays a creature that has haste, it must attack. So it is really good if you see your opponents have a lot of creatures. So you play Kardur Doomscourge and you are able to survive 1 turn and they kill each other creatures out by combat. But here are the 2 commanders that you will definitely play in this custom precon. The first demon is Rakdos the Showstopper. He has Flying Trample, and when he enters the battlefield, you flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil or imp. Destroy each creature whose coin comes up tail. It's a partial board wipe that affects only your opponents. But surprisingly, Rakdos Patron of Chaos is better for this demon tribal deck than Rakdos the Showstopper, even though Showstopper has better synergy with demons. Rakdos Patron of Chaos says that he has Flying Trample, and at the beginning of your end step, target opponent may sacrifice 2 non-land, non-token permanents. If they don't, you draw 2 cards. And in 99% of cases, what ends up happening is that his effect is at the beginning of your end step, draw 2 cards. Because no one will sacrifice 2 of their precious creatures just so you don't draw 2 cards. A lot of people will think that, well, he's not such a threat. The only thing that it does is card draw, and it doesn't affect me negatively. For example, Rakdos the Showstopper, a lot of people don't like him, so when I want to cast him, someone always uses counterspell because the enter the battlefield effect is really punishing. But Patron of Chaos basically means that you draw cards, so it doesn't affect negatively your opponents directly. That's why he is my most favorite commander in this precon. And you know what? Let's go to the main win condition of this deck. Liliana's Contract. It is an enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, you draw 4 cards and lose 4 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win the game. And I absolutely love that I own the Secret Lair version of it, and there are 2 cards that help Liliana's Contract a lot, something that a lot of people don't realize. Those 2 cards are Quicksilver Amulet and Belbas Portal. Both of these are artifacts, and you spend 4 mana or 3 mana, depending which one you play, and you will put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's the beginning of your upkeep, your Liliana's Contract triggers. You activate your Quicksilver Amulet going on the stack, you put a demon, and then Liliana's Contract resolves, and if you have 3 demons, you put 1, you win the game on your turn at the beginning of your upkeep. So a lot of people are really scared once they play multiple games against these 2 artifacts, and they want to remove them. But players who don't play regularly against demons, which, let's be real, nearly no one plays against a demon tribal deck, maybe just once or twice in their entire life, a lot of people won't know that this is the actual threat of this deck. And the advantage, again, if you have expensive demons that cost 7 or 8 mana, and you spend only 4 or 3 mana to put them, it is beneficial. And even more, people cannot counter your creatures because you are not casting them, you are putting them. So counter spells don't work on these demons. So that's the main idea of how you want to win with this demon tribal deck. And something a lot of people don't realize is that Liliana's Contract is the only tribal win condition in the entire game. That's something unique, and at my local game store, people know me, oh, that's the guy who plays demons. And a lot of people love playing against demons because it's fun. It's something unique, something you don't play against every single day. Something that you play once or twice in your life against, if you are lucky. So a lot of people absolutely love this deck, playing against it, which you cannot say about a lot of other decks, that it's fun playing against them. So that's the main win condition. And now let's move to the demons, to the core of this deck. Because if you don't have demons, you cannot win with your Liliana's Contract. The first demon is Balor. When he attacks or dies, you basically choose opponents. Ideally, you want to choose all 3 opponents. One of them will draw 3 cards and discard 3 cards at random, messing up their hand. Another will sacrifice a non-token artifact, which could be, for example, a Soul Ring. And the third is that he deals damage equal to the hand size of an opponent you choose. So if they have 7 cards in hand, he deals 7 damage to them. Another demon is Great Unclean One. Basically, what he does is that if you have more health than someone else, at your end step, you create a 1/3 black demon creature token. And if your all opponents have less, you create 3 of them. Again, you can read through the cards and pause the video. I just don't want to spend the entire time of this video explaining every single card. So you can always pause. Another demon, Archfiend of Depravity. I absolutely love this one. If your opponents have a lot of creatures, at the beginning of each opponent's end step, they choose 2 creatures and sacrifice the rest. Absolutely beautiful demon. Obnixilis Unshackled. This is an okay demon, not the best thing, not the worst thing. Another demon is Plague Drone. Instead of opponents gaining life, they lose that much life instead, so really good against life gain decks. We have Crabomination. This is just more of a meme card that I have in this deck, which basically reveals 3 cards, one from opponent's hand, from their library, and from their graveyard, and I can play one of them for free, and those other cards are exiled. Another is Varogath Bloodsky Sire. I have a special art for him. I wanted the original one, but this one doesn't look that bad, and it was surprisingly cheaper. He has Death Touch, and if he attacks, I can spend colorless and black to search my library for any card and put it on the top of my library. Then we have Bloodgift Demon, a pretty good demon, where he, at the beginning of my upkeep, I basically target always myself to draw a card and lose 1 life. We have Sire of Insanity. A lot of people don't like playing against it, makes sense, but it locks down my opponents while I have a lot of demons, which says that at the beginning of each end step, each player discards his or her hand. It's a decent demon, and a lot of people don't expect it, mainly players who play cards like a combo or anything. They will absolutely hate this, and most of the times I use Quicksilver Amulet, for example, to put him so you cannot even counter him. One of the most expensive demons in my deck is Archfiend of Despair. He has Flying. Your opponents can't gain life, and at the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. So basically doubles the damage my opponents take. Dream Devourer, the cheapest demon in my deck, which allows my cards to have foretell. So if I have expensive cards, I can just foretell them, and he gains attack, but he loses it. So I don't even intend to attack with him, so he's a blocker. But pretty good, pretty cheap, and good effect. One of my most favorite demons, Sour of Discord. I absolutely love that when he enters the battlefield, I choose 2 players, and once one player is dealt damage, the other one also takes it. So you can choose this on 2 players, and they basically won't attack each other, because why would they attack each other? Sometimes it can backfire if you choose yourself and another player, because the 2 other players will just target you. So it is a really political demon. Absolutely love it. Really fun playing with it. Most synergistic demon is Herald of Slanesh. Demon spells you cast cost 2 less. Other demons have haste. This is like a must-have in every single demon deck. Then I have the Balorg of Moria, which I don't intend on playing. I just put him with my Quicksilver Amulet. He has Trample Haste, and when he dies, I can exile him, and for each opponent, I exile up to 1 target creature that player controls of my choice, which is surprisingly really beneficial. Another thing is Infernal Souvenir. So far, I didn't have that much success with him, which is surprising, but what he says is that when you play a land or cast a spell, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So he is a good card draw engine, but sometimes he can kill you. It just happens. Then I have Doom Whisperer, really good. You can pay 2 life and Surveil 2, and you can use this how many times you want unless it kills you. Surprisingly good stats for 5 mana 6/6 with Flying and Trample, and this effect, really strong. I have Orca Siege Demon, which is a very interesting demon because whenever another creature dies, I put 1/1 counter on it, and when this demon dies, it deals damage equal to its power divided as I choose the targets. So I can decide, oh, there it will deal 3 damage, there 5. So it's more like, do you want this to grow and then have a big problem with it? Or do you want to destroy it immediately and I will deal 5 damage how I please? Another demon which is very demonic, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, Soul Hoarder. And whenever a permanent owned by another player is put into graveyard, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Very good, but it most of the time kills you, because if you have 15 life, your opponents will be, you know what, let's remove creatures that we have, attack with them, they die and deal 1 damage to this player. I have Burning Rune Demon. He basically searches 2 cards in my deck. I reveal them, I choose an opponent, and I can be political. One player could decide, okay, you keep this card and this one you will go to graveyard. Or you can just choose, most of the times I choose 2 big demons, so I can then resurrect them with my resurrection package, which is later in this video. Then I have Demon of the Dark Schemes. This demon alone saved me 2 times. When Demon of Dark Schemes enters the battlefield, all other creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. And this is so significant because when your opponents attack you, they see, oh, you have 1 life. Oh, I will attack you with my 2/2. So attacks, they declare attackers, and in my blocking phase, I use my Quicksilver Amulet to put Demon of the Dark Schemes, and I survive. And this actually happened 2 times, and I won the game by this. Because then I did Resurrection and my demons had haste, so I attacked, an absolute masterpiece. Another creature, this is a non-demon, is Aspiring Champion, and this is not the best card, I'm thinking of replacing it, but what he essentially does is when he attacks and deals combat damage, I can sacrifice him and deal cards from my library until I reveal a creature. If that is a demon, it also deals damage equal to its power. I have never actually used him. Harvester of Souls, the biggest card draw engine in this entire deck. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may draw a card. Absolutely phenomenal. When I had no cards in hand, I played this. So many cards I got. Even if board wipe happens, his effect triggers, so you draw 10 cards, 15 cards. So awesome demon, you must have him. Another demon is Blood Crusher of Kron. Basically, other creatures you control have trample. He's a demon. I don't think he's the strongest, but he's decent in this deck. Master of Cruelties absolutely destroys opponents, because when I use Quicksilver Amulet, I put him, my turn starts, and I can attack immediately. And when I attack and that creature is not blocked, like Master of Cruelties is not blocked, the health opponent it's attacking changes to 1. So many people are scared of this, and I made so many political decisions that, okay, I will not attack you, but what will you offer me? Absolutely phenomenal demon. Then we have Rune Sacred Demon. He's basically a tutor. When he enters, I search a card in my library. Another demon is Indulgent Tormentor. Not the best, because opponents won't let me draw cards, but instead they will lose 3 life. My biggest demon, and also pretty expensive, is Willis Brooker of Blood. Flying, I can spend 1 black and pay 2 life to target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. But the reason why you are playing him is whenever you lose life, you draw that many cards. He is another awesome card draw engine, a bit more expensive, but really awesome. Another demon that is really demon tribal is Reaper from the Abyss. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, destroy target non-demon creature. And my last demon is Demon Lord Belzenlog. When he enters, I reveal cards from the top of my library and I put them to my hand. Once I hit a card that's a non-land card that costs 3 or less mana, I stop doing this effect and I take damage equal to the cards drawn, so also an awesome card draw effect. Now I have my Resurrection package, which is Victimize, basically sacrifice 1 of my creatures and put 2 creatures from my graveyard to the battlefield. Vat of Rebirth, similar thing, after my creatures are put into graveyard from the battlefield, it gets counters. Once I remove 4 oil counters from it, I can return a demon from my graveyard to the battlefield. Haunted Voyage, I can foretell this, which is what I always do, and when I play it, I put all demons from my graveyard to the battlefield. Absolutely phenomenal finisher if I get Liliana's Contract destroyed. And the last Resurrection is Patriarch's Bidding, where every player chooses a creature type and returns all creatures of that type from their graveyard to the battlefield. Now we move to the board wipes, and I will start with Living Death, where it basically exiles all creatures and they are put into the graveyard. But before that, creatures from all graveyards are returned to the battlefield, so this is a board wipe and a resurrection engine. Blasphemous Act, where it deals 13 damage to each creature. Mandate of Abaddon, I choose one of my demons, and all creatures with less power than that demon are destroyed. And Decree of Pain, it is more expensive, but I draw cards equal to the creatures destroyed with this board wipe, so really good. I am leaving a link to this deck that I actually use in the description to Mox Field, so you can definitely check out the current deck, because in the future I will probably adjust this deck to be even stronger. I have so much fun with this deck from the entire time of playing Magic the Gathering, and I've built so many decks. This deck is my favorite of all time and I absolutely love it. So if you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend you to watch this video next. Thanks for watching and stay tuned, my friends.